So I'm Justin. Some of you guys probably know me, seen tickets in Salesforce and chatters and all that stuff. Customer service manager. I started at Leapset a year and a half ago. So I wanted to take the opportunity to let you guys know where we've come from basically a year and a half ago to what we're doing now. Big changes in the support organization. And take the time to explain that to you guys. And then also show you guys my goals for the future as well, how we're going to improve even more. So the first thing I wanted to explain is a few little facts, I guess, really. When I first started in June, there was only two support agents, and it rang to 2 cell phones. First person to answer would pick up, and we'd help the customer. That was even better than when Dirk and Chinthana were in Redwood City and take the bikes and pedal bike all the way down to the restaurant to fix the issue. We moved up to cell phones. But now we're using a system that a lot of big companies use. It's an actual PBX phone system. We can handle up to 32 concurrent lines. So if we get pretty busy, we can have a bunch of callers waiting. So when we have code reds, there's 10, 15 calls waiting. But now we've got 8 agents to help answer the calls. And back then, support coverage was a 9 to 5 job, basically 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, and that was it. Now the U.S. team is handling 7 days a week, 5 a.m. to midnight, which is most of the volume. From midnight to 5 a.m. we get very few calls, so we cover a bulk of the volume for you guys. And then training, I bring up training. It's not really something that we do in customer support, but it affects customer support. We used to do remote trainings, and now we're doing actual on-site training. This is beneficial because we provide better training and a lot less calls into support after their launch and they're using the Leapset system. Wanted to show you guys something good in the Redwood City office, right in the support section. It's kind of blurry there, but we call it our support wall of love. Whenever a restaurant calls in and says, "Thank you guys, thank you support, thank you Leapset, we love Leapset," we put a little post-it note on our wall, kind of a little motivation for the support team. Some more boring stuff, I guess, for you guys, but some stats for you to show you kind of the call volume that we're getting. How many calls do we take? Obviously, it shows it here. October, we took over 3,000. We received over 3,000 calls. That's really busy, and that's with 8 people taking 3,000 calls. But the interesting part is that it's really grown. But then the good news for Rohana here is it's actually dropping in December. So call volume's coming back down. So that could be due to a few things. I'd like to say that the product's getting a lot better, and people are having less issues. They're better trained, and they know how to use the system a lot more. Another thing to explain, service level. So I am committing to the company that we've set a service level agreement. That service level is answering 80% of our inbound calls within 120 seconds. When the call reaches that threshold, it's outside of service level. The goal is answering 80. We never hit goal until September, and then again in December. December was actually our best month. We hit 86% service level. We crushed the goal that we set, and the average handle time, the average wait time, was actually even lower. It was under a minute, I think, that customers had to wait to get support. This is really good because in the past, customers would then call their sales rep. They'd call Cisco, and they'd say, "I was on hold for 40 minutes and I hung up. I need help." So then they start calling whoever they could if they were having an issue. Now, we've got data that proves otherwise. On average, we're answering calls under a minute, really. And that goes a long way with the customers and with Cisco, that we're able to help them as quickly as possible. And our average talk time, too, it is coming down. I've set a goal for 8 minutes of call time, and we're well under that, right under 7 minutes for last month, actually. It was like 6:56 or something like that. Multiple things going on there. My team is more senior now. They know how to handle a lot more issues, and the issues are less complex now too. A few things for the future that I want to improve. We want to get better at a few things, and the first thing is I actually want to make the service level a little bit harder to achieve. Instead of that 120 seconds, I want to answer 80% of calls within 60 seconds. So even better service for our customers, just one of those things. And then we also want to expand our support hours even more. That is the US team. I want my team to take on 24/7, 365, and then have Dirk and Chinthin's team as a support to us. And then we also want to improve our resolution times. Right now, cases tend to stay open too long, sometimes months in worst cases. So what I've committed to doing is by the end of this year is to actually get our average resolution time for cases to be 12 hours or less. Right now, we're pretty far from that. We've got quite a bit of work to do to get there. But I definitely think it's achievable. And then 100% on my team is following up on unresolved issues. One of the problems that we struggle with is finding the bandwidth to be able to call the customer again, give them an update on a case, ask for more information if engineering needs more help or more data to be able to figure out what the issue is. I want to make sure that we're doing that at least every 48 hours. Even if it's, hey, we're still looking into it, we'll keep you posted. We're not as good at that as we can be, so we can improve there. And then really just improving communication between the two teams. What we want to do for the first stage of testing this is we want to get rid of the idea of SL, US. I want to kill that. It's done. It's one support team. And we want to turn it into a tier 1, tier 2 kind of atmosphere where my guys are tier 1 and they can escalate with a phone call to tier 2 where they'll be able to ask questions as well, provide as much information as they can to production support, so that way again it will all leading to the goal of lowering resolution time and taking care of the issues as quickly as possible. The last slide I have, kind of flew through that. Kind of something that I like to talk about with a bunch of people. It doesn't matter what department, but the customer service and support department really are the bottom of a funnel. Every decision that every other team makes really affects customer service and the customer experience. In turn, putting that extra burden on my team. So, product makes a decision and it affects our customers poorly, my team ends up dealing with it, not product directly. And same thing with kind of every other team there. Engineering, QA, the sales team, they make a bad sale, a customer that's not a good fit for us, they're yelling at support afterwards. You know, menu team makes an error on the menu. Installers, out of our control, third party. I don't know if you guys have heard stories about the installers or not, but there's been an installer that fell through a roof, the ceiling. There's an installer that lost his phone in between the wall and then broke a hole through the wall to get his phone. There's been some interesting stories. But those negative experiences then go to my team because the customer's upset. And the number they call is 855-Leapset, and we're there to feel their pain a little bit. Training and onboarding, anything that's not covered, any training issues that they might have comes to my team. And then marketing. Every other team, poor decisions made at the beginning will affect my team in the end somehow. So I leave you with that to understand the decisions we make now will affect another team down the road. That was pretty quick. I think I flew through that. Huh? Okay, so remote training. We ended remote training, I think it was in November of 2013. What we would do is we would call the customer, they would be in front of the system, and we'd walk them through the features, how to use it. Here's how you place an order, here's how you pay for an order, here's how you refund it, timesheets, going through all of those things remotely. The problem with that is, if you're telling me how to do something on my computer, what if I'm over here taking an order for someone, just pretending that I'm listening to you? The retention of that knowledge is very difficult. So what we decided to do is actually send someone on site. So now at every deployment of a new location, someone is on site. There's a training criteria that we go through. They show them everything. They let them ask questions. And it also helps us gauge their interaction as well. We score them, whether they know it or not. In the end, we turn around and say, was the customer, the operator attentive? Were they distracted the whole time? What were they doing? Who was there? Was it just one person? But then there's a staff of 15 people, so one person's going to know Leapset and the 14 others aren't. So it's those types of things that are increasing the level of service that we're providing. Sometimes I think we forget to put some. But I think it's just in the past, we used to get a lot of calls with upset customers. Some of which was in our control, some of which wasn't. I mean, the Gents outages, world pay issues, we dealt with the brunt of that. And it was frustrating for us, and we found that reminding ourselves that there are some people that actually really do like the product. Because here's the thing, if you're using something, you've got an app on your phone that doesn't work, you're probably more likely to write a review or complain about that product because it doesn't work. But when it does work, you're not going to tell the company, hey, this product is great, it's working, it's doing everything I wanted. So we deal with negative more than positive. So, no other questions? That's all I got for you guys. Thank you.